guys, this is the Lala Legacy, and welcome back to another episode of Air. So, let's just continue forward. With that said, Uraha continued. Do you still remember that night when we escaped from the shrine? You ordered us not to move from our position near the river. So I did. After you left, Lady Kanna became hysterical when she heard the whistles made by the pursuers. She said they were after you, and that you'd be killed if she didn't go with you. She wouldn't listen, even though I told her it was part of the plan. That rainy night, I recalled Kanna's icy rage back then. She had gone against my will because of her desire to save me. Then she witnessed me when I, ignoring the plea of that soldier, was about to bring my sword down upon him. Is that how it was? I was at a loss for words. The cord securing my sword to my left waist tormented me with surges of pain. Uraha smiled and said calmly, If I may be so bold, I believe you will definitely keep the promise of not taking another life. What makes you think so? What would you have done if Lady Kanna had told you to kill that man? I would have gotten mad at her for taking the lives of others so lightly. I presume so. Grown-ups have to set an example for the children. Exactly. We laughed out loud together. Just then I heard the sound of rustling grass. I turned around to find Kanna looking at us. What are you doing? Just chit-chatting. What about our dinner, you useless man? I thought she was just hungry, but she looked unusually fidgety. Weren't you supposed to be collecting firewood? There's something strange going on in the village over there. Something strange? Uraha and I looked at each other. With Kanna's insistence, the three of us moved to the edge of the forest. Over there! She pointed with a thin finger. Under the darkness, a village could be seen between the mountains. The villagers were setting up a scaffold in a wide open area. They appeared to be preparing for something. Is that a watchtower? I was about to urge the two of them to retreat when I noticed Uraha's know-it-all face. That's a festival! A festival? It's a ritual to thank their god and pray to him. Is there also a shrine in this village? In reply to Kanna's urgent inquiry, Uraha simply shook her head slowly. No, there are many different types of festivals. There are also many different gods that people worship. The one we're looking at is a fire festival. The villagers were each carrying a piece of wood to the scene. The big men took those pieces of wood from them and piled them into a tower. They are going to light a fire at the very top of the tower and pray to the gods. Why would they do that? Perhaps they hope it will bring them closer to the gods. Is that so? She nodded half-heartedly, such that it was hard to tell whether she understood or not. The festival music met our ears, carried by the evening breeze. The festival had begun. The undulated beats of the hand drums was accompanied by the flutes. A lively yet simple melody delightfully different from court music. A fire was ignited on the top of the tower. With that, a billow of smoke began to drift towards the twinkling stars. The clamorous shouts of the villagers followed. They look like they're having fun, Kanna muttered to herself. She sounded as though she were a secluded hermit, speaking of happiness out of her reach. Uraha winked at me. I had no choice but to show consent with my eyes. Lady Kanna, would you like to go closer to take a look? Can I do that? Her eyes sparkled with hope, but immediately she lowered her gaze again. It was my first time seeing her act so reserved. You can watch from the forest, but you're not allowed to join the crowd. As her bodyguard, that was the biggest concession I could give her. Kanna pondered for a few moments, and finally answered me. All right, escort me to the festival. As you command. I bowed respectfully. The road will be dark. Uraha, hold Kanna's hand. Yes, Lady Kanna, please give me your hand. Kanna rearranged her sleeves and gently held Kanna's right hand. You're so courteous. It feels awkward, I hear her mumble. As we walked into deeper darkness, the music from the festival drew closer. Lady Kanna, this is a good spot for viewing, Uraha said to Kanna. Kanna gazed intently and let out a cry of exclamation. Wow! The festival was in full swing. Many villagers had formed a circle around the flaming tower. Some were looking to the sky, following the trails of fire and smoke. Others were waving their sleeves as they indulged in dancing. The festival music increased in magnitude. Flame, darkness, and people all rolled into one. Their ancient song was weaning its way back into the sky. Why do they all look so happy? Kanna asked with her eyes still on the villagers. Her question was an earnest one. Legend has it that those who bathe in the ashes of this fire will be blessed with good health. I suppose their stress from the day will be gone if they let loose like that. But that's not all, Uraha cut in. She glared sidelong at me to stop me from being a wet blanket. Everyone truly believes that their prayers will reach the heavens. Their prayers would surely reach the skies. Kanna's shoulders trembled the moment she heard Uraha's words. Who shall be the one to deliver their prayers? Kanna looked at Uraha with doleful eyes, who was a bit taken aback by her question. I've never met a god before. I've tried countless times to fly since I was little, but I was never able to. I even tried jumping off the roof of the shrine, but I did not float down like a leaf. No matter how hard I flapped my wings, they couldn't lift me up. These wings of mine are useless. I can never deliver wishes for others. I can't. The fire roared louder. Fiery ashes were interspersed with laughter. The crimson flame found home in Kanna's glazed eyes. Memories of the old were back to haunt her. Lady Kanna! Uraha leaned... gosh, I'm gonna cry! Uraha leaned against Uraha's frail, trembling shoulders. She wrapped Kanna with her crudely woven sleeves. The waterfowl caught in a tempest, sheltering her frozen chick with her own feathers. The festival is reaching its climax. I walked up to Kanna. Since you're already here, make a wish. Kanna looked at me blankly. She did not seem to understand what I just said. Am I also allowed to make a wish? Of course you are. But what am I to offer to the gods in return? But what am I to offer to the gods in return? I didn't bring any wood with me. You don't need wood. Should I dance like how they're doing? You don't need to dance either. What should I do then? She looked to me with pleading eyes. Just wish with all of your heart. That's all you need to do. Kanna kept silent. She did as I taught her and wished earnestly. I knew very well what she was praying for. Her wide-open eyes were filled with innocence. Her wish unfolded before her. Oh, no. I mean, I love this part in the anime and everything, but oh gosh, I'm crying. In the distance, a blissful mother was hugging her child. Her daughter laughed in her mother's warm chest. A common scene for any summer festival. Kanna diverted her gaze. A look of disbelief of what she just saw appeared on her face. I put my hand to her head. And then I ruffled her silky black hair. Don't make a face like that. Your wish will surely come true. It definitely will. Right, Uraha? Yes, indeed it will. She tightened her arms around Kanna. Uraha, it hurts! That tickles! Yes, Kanna's wish will surely come true. We will make it come true. We remained at the same place in the air of the night. The festival bonfire continued to light up the night sky of summer. The next morning, we started off before daybreak, and by noon we had crossed the mountain pass. We avoided the roads and took a detour around a village checkpoint by crossing a mountain. The next day, we continued to take the mountain path and camped by a river. That was not because we felt a heightened danger of being discovered. We were just taking caution because Kanna stood out too much on the roads. The pursuers thought of Kanna as a princess. They could not have imagined that Kanna was living the life of a wild monkey in the forests. As long as we stayed away from the roads, there was no fear of being interrogated. That was my judgment on the matter. Afternoon arrived. The three of us were enjoying the breeze under the shade of an oak tree. Today we took a long-needed break from traveling. The forest was filled with the songs of the cicadas. Yet the weather was not hot. The passing breeze carried a certain sense of emptiness. The hottest days of summer were over. However, I was drenched in sweat. The reason was that I had been reading some tedious books since early morning. I could make empty promises without granting Kanna's wish all I wanted. But nothing would come to fruition if I could not even locate her mother. With so many checkpoints in place, we could not go near the roads. So my only lead was on the documents that I had taken from the shrine. Telling monster stories to the monsters, how absurd! Not this one either. The book that I had tossed aside were scattered all over the ground. I stretched myself and looked to my side. Uraha was reading a scroll without a single movement. Uraha, did you find anything? No, not yet. Is that so? Uraha was able to read both hiragana and kanji. I, on the other hand, had little foundation in reading and writing. I was able to read messages, but as for words written purely in Chinese characters, I could only make out the rough meaning. This one is worthless as well. I looked at Kanna. She was leaning against a tree trunk in an ugly manner and dozing off. Her playthings were scattered all around her. Dolls, bamboo crafts, clay bells, flutes, glass beads. All those were brought by Uraha during our visit to the market. After Uraha taught her how to play with them, she had been eagerly trying everything out. Even I became collateral. For a while now, Kanna forced me to play house with her whenever we stopped to rest. Incidentally, my doll played the role of a retainer in the beck and call of the princess. Because we had too few dolls, mine was just a shoddily crafted piece of wood. My existence was pathetic, both as a human and as a doll. Kanna was quiet only when she was asleep. You're truly a fool. What on earth are you saying in your sleep to your loyal retainer? I was about to grab Kanna when I felt a steely gaze on me. Ooh. I'm sorry, I lost myself for a moment. Please get on with the reading, Sir Ryuuya. I know. I proceeded to pick up another book. Gah! The next book was filled with nothing but kanji. Grabbing my head, I started reading it with great difficulty. After a while, Kanna began to squirm. That was a good nap. She sat up from the tree trunk after letting out a big yawn. Lady Kanna, you've awoken. Yes. I'm thirsty. Is there any water? Yes, I have some here. It's fine, I'll get it by myself. She stopped Uraha when she was about to stand up and picked up the bamboo canister. After finishing all the water, she heaved a big sigh. Water tastes best in summer. You look like you're enjoying yourself, Kanna. I took a jab at her. You look unfortunate. Were you reading this whole time? You don't look like you do any reading. So, can you read? Nobody taught me how to, of course I can't. She boasted for no reason whatsoever. I can't believe Uraha allowed that to pass. Uraha's eyebrows twitched immediately. I did not. But Lady Kanna would not let me teach her. That's all your fault. That's mean. What have I ever done to you? Don't you remember that time with the song collection? That was meant to cultivate your mind, Lady Kanna. How is that teaching method of yours going to cultivate my mind? What are you two talking about? Once I taught Lady Kanna some Japanese songs. A little hardship is to be expected of learning, and yet... You call 100 poems a day a little hardship? There were 4,500 poems in all. You couldn't be taking your own sweet time, Uraha answered with a serious face. So apparently, Uraha had forced Kanna to memorize a giant book of Japanese songs in the past. I considered the implication. 100 poems a day for a consecutive period of 45 days, all the while under Uraha's constant vigilance. I'm surprised you lived through that. Yes, exactly. I thought I was going to die trying. So I got up one night and threw the whole volume into the fire. Thanks to Lady Kanna, the 6 volumes of ancient songs became the fuel for breakfast that morning. You don't understand how much I went through to procure such a collection. Indeed, I understand. That breakfast was none other that I had ever tasted. Is that mouth of yours one to speak of such cruel words? Uraha stuck her little fingers into Kanna's mouth and stretched it. Stop that, Uraha! A mouth that can't recite Japanese songs is useless. My mouth's not useless! Tell me why I shouldn't just stitch up your mouth, she exclaimed with that terrifying smile of hers. What are you standing there for? Save me! But I still valued my life. You good for nothing! Uraha came back to her senses. She noticed me staring at her and quickly withdrew her fingers from Kanna's mouth. I'm truly sorry. I lost myself for a moment. No, don't worry about it. Who are you to forgive her? You still sound strange. Kanna rubbed her stretched cheeks with both hands. As long as she was around, we would never get anything done. Go play by yourself if you're not going to help. It's boring to play by myself. Don't you have your toys? I'm tired of them. Honestly. While I was feeling flabbergasted, she took out the beanbags from her pocket. Those beanbags are the only things you don't get tired of. People only like something if they're not good at it, huh? Quiet, you! There's too much distraction here. I'm going over there. She stole a glance at Uraha, then walked towards the tree ahead of us. I could hear her whimpering, but I decided to ignore her. With that, evening arrived with zero findings, sorry. There was nothing recorded about the shrine in the south, or even the shrine we came from. Why did they go to such lengths to conceal the existence of the winged beings? That I could not understand as well. On the other hand, I realized what a complete mystery the winged beings were. Even in the books, they were contradicting descriptions concerning their treatment. The winged beings were gods revered for bestowing wisdom onto mankind. At the same time, they were also demons who brought calamity down upon this earth and were thus subjugated by humans in the past. On my final ancient text, the description read, Phoenix wings of immortality by heaven's decree. Immortality, huh? I turned to look at Kanna. She picked the beanbags from the ground, threw them into the air once more. Her tenacity was unexpected. Why can't I do this right? I had also not expected her to be so clumsy. Sir Ryuuya, I've finished everything over here. Uraha, who was beside me, tied up the scroll in her hands with the string. I could tell from her face that her efforts were fruitless. We can't do much with just the shrine in the south. Uraha posed me a question after I sighed. I have a doubt. Even if the winged being is Lady Kanna's mother, will she still be at the shrine now? Lady Kanna moves to a new shrine every year. Will her mother be doing the same? I had considered that possibility before. However, I don't think so. Why is that? Just my hunch. Something had always been bothering me. The spooked soldier back at the shrine had said something mysterious to me. The mother understood the nature of humans and transformed into a demon. Is it possible to move a demon around? In the first place, what did that soldier mean by a demon? Uraha, on seeing me lapse into silence, answered, "Your hunch." "You don't believe me?" "No. Your hunch is always right," she replied with seriousness. But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So, if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe. By subscribing, you're becoming part of a legacy. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!